boys and girls. Welcome to Ms.Etta's Academic Corner. Tonight we have with us, as we always do, we have Judah Jr. and Judah Sr. Hey guys, I want to thank you guys for always being here. You're letting the boys and girls know how important it is to read, and we thank you. What are we going to be reading tonight? We're going to be reading a book called The ABCs of Black History. Now, this is just one person's information about Black history. We have a lot of books out there, but we wanted to make one. They wanted to make one that was children friendly. So the ABCs of Black history sounds interesting. And no, you don't have to be Black to read this book. You can be any culture, any race to read about another set of people or your own. This is what? A hardback book, right? So what we do, we take off the jacket. Now, usually the jacket looks exactly like the book, but this one looks a little different. Oh, hold on. This jacket and this book looks different. So the jacket, we see the ABCs of Black History, and we see books. And it says the author is Rio Cortez, and the illustrator is Lauren Semner. And the illustrator is the person that does the drawings. Now, on this cover of the book itself, we see different buildings, and they have different writings on them. And a lot of this has to do with Black history. We see music, we see Showtime, we see the Apollo. Now, your parents will know about the Apollo. You wouldn't. I don't think so. But the Apollo was a place in New York City where people used to come and do entertainments, and people used to go. Matter of fact, I'm old enough. I used to go to the Apollo all the time. And we used to see people like the Shy Lights. I know y'all know what I'm talking about, but if your parent heard me, they know the Shy Lights, the Temptations, okay, the Isley Brothers, people like that. Okay, then we have jazz. Now it says $1.50. Now you know this is a long time ago because there's no place you can get in for $1.50 now. And then we have the trains, the A train. This is still going on in New York. The A train. Only your parents would know about this. We got the nightlight on stage. We got Bessie. Bessie might be Bessie Smith, Josephine. Like these about old time. This is way back, but that's why it's history. History. On the back of it, we have Langston, which is Langston Hughes, who was an author. You might want to read about him. Zora, she was another author. So these are taking real history and putting it on the back of the book. Augusta Savage. Then there was a diner. The train, the A train again. These houses like this, they still have them in Manhattan. They were called brownstones. They weren't necessarily brown. I don't know why they call them brownstones, but they were attached to each other. And now in Harlem, especially in Harlem, those brownstones are worth a lot of money. Now let's get back to the book. So it has pretty colors. It has history. It's going to teach us stuff. We got purple. That attracts our eyes, right? We got yellow. Now, history is not the past. It is the present. We carry our history with us. We are our history. There was an author, very famous Black author named James Baldwin. He said that history is not the past. It is the present. We carry our history with us. We are our history. And he's saying that history is not back there and it stays back there. Whatever took place back there, we bring with us. So we bring it into our present situation. And we are our history. We are the things that are made of. You know, like your parents. You are a product of your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, and your great-great-grandparents, and we can go on. And you're on both sides. So you bring with you all the things that they were made of, and that's who you are today. Let us march on till victory is won. A is for anthem. That's a song. Okay? A is for anthem. Remember, this is the ABCs of Black history. Is an anthem, a banner of song that wraps us in hope, let us know we belong. We lift up our voices, lift and them up and sing. From stages and street corners, let freedom ring. Let us march on till victory is won. Sing a song full of the hope that... Okay, all right, I'll stop. But that's part of the song. I'm old enough to know that song. B is for beautiful. I'm talking to you. Your voice, your height, your hair, your hue. That's your color of your skin. B is for brave, for bright, and for bold. For those who stood up, even when they were told to step back, stand down, remember their place. B is for brotherhood, for believing in grace. C, what could C be about? C is for community, where we live, laugh, and eat. And for church, where we worship, mourn, sing, and meet. Did you hear Reverend King preach on his dream of civil rights, human rights? A powerful theme. And that's a picture of Martin Luther King. He was Reverend Martin Luther King. Now, in this book, when it says the ABCs, and like C, it says it for community, church, civil. Those words are in bold to remind us of what alphabet we're on. So we did ABC. D, what could be D about? D is for diaspora, pulled from our homes. We were carried away in ships on the foam to Haiti, Cuba, America, Brazil. Our names are different, new, but still we are connected. Then, now, forevermore, that long ago, far away African shore. So you could talk to your parents more. You might have learned about it a little bit. I don't think much about slavery. And when people were brought from Africa and brought over into the States on slave ships, they still brought their culture with them, their history. And they brought to South America and North America. You can learn more about that from your parents. E is for explore, to study, place, like Matthew Henson, the Arctic, Mae Jemison, space. E is for education, for expanding the mind, the Ruby Bridges, Linda Brown, the Little Rock Nine, the first black children in an all-white school. They opened the doors and challenged the rules. Again, this is, if you've never heard of this, this is just showing you stuff that you might one day sit down with your parents and begin to learn a little bit about Black history. F is for food, grown and farmed with our hands, worked and tilled and pulled from the land, for fried fish, ham hocks, warm buttermilk bread, or maybe the sharp taste of mustards instead. F is for folklore, by the light of the moon, for family, for freedom, for jumping the broom. This is a book worth getting and studying. Studying means you go back to read it slowly so that you can learn, really learn what it's saying. G is for go. Towards cities we were bound, for the great migration from country to town. From farming the land to the factory floor, we carried the blues on our backs, not much more. My parents were old enough, they migrated from the south to the north. My father was about, I think, 13. In those days, he migrated to the north. A lot of them did, so they could work, get jobs, and make money. When they did, they never went back to the south. They stayed in the north. H is for Harlem. I spoke about that earlier. These big city streets. We walked and we danced to our own jazzy beat. When Lewis and Bessie and Duke on the stage, and Langston and Zora Neale Hurston the page. These might not be names you know, but your parents will know them. Louis Armstrong, Bessie Smith, Duke Ellington, people like that. And then this is actually what was on the front of the book that we're seeing in here when I talk to you, right? See that? Remember that? That's in the book, and that's on the cover of the book. Same thing. The way to really learn about them is to take one of them and do research about them, and you'd really learn a lot about them. What letter are we up to now, boys and girls? That's right, I. I is for imagine, invent, innovative. For all of the ways we are so creative. We had Alan Ailey, Madam C.J. Walker, George Washington Carver, John Michael Basquiat, Gwendolyn Brooks, and DJ Kool. These are famous black people. You'll have to look them up. But one of the things I want to point out to you is Madam C.J. Walker was somebody who she was an entrepreneur. She created a business, hair care products. And she did a lot. And she became rich for those days. So you might want to look her up. Alvin Ailey was a dancer, had a company. And you might want to look him up. What alphabet are we up to now? J. J is for Juneteenth. We were finally free, or so we hoped in this moment of glee. J is for Juve. When the drummers drum from Trinidad, Grenada, and Haiti, they come. I lived in the Caribbean at one point, and we celebrated Juve every year, Juve. And people celebrated, made costumes, danced, partied, ate, had fun. I made my own costumes. I'm not going to tell you what I was, but I made my own costumes too. K is for kin, our fathers and our mothers, our ancestors, our elders, our sisters and our brothers. K is also for Kwanzaa, which honors that bond. Ask Habria Ghani and we might respond. It was unity, self-determination, collective working responsibility, cooperative economics, and purpose, and creativity and faith. Kwanzaa is said to be the black version of Christmas. So if you celebrate Kwanzaa, you might want to look it up. What letter are we up to now? L. L, everybody should have this. L is for love. Love. L is for love. L is always for love. Love, love. Look at those different pictures showing love. Loving your family, loving your husband, loving your wife, loving your brothers, your sisters, loving your aunties, your uncles, loving your fellow man, loving everybody in your class. Just simply love. Next alphabet letter is M. It's for march, for lifting our feet, taking the movement to cause to the street. I am a black man. Black is beautiful. I have a dream too. Black Lives Matter. I am Trayvon. We march with Selma. Equality for all. Stop global warming. Hands up. Don't shoot. No justice. No peace. We can't breathe. I am not a threat. These are the different signs that people use when they march in the past and they use now, even today. Black Lives Matter. Every breath, every dream, every thought, each idea, each impossible scheme. The might of our message is easy to hear. The drumbeat of hope is louder than fear. And it's for newspapers. We started our own to tell our stories and let it be known. Did you know that? We deserve the front page. We deserve to be seen and to also be featured in slick magazines. So we have Black Beauty, Black Power. There's Essence magazine we started. Okay, your parents know about that. Some of you might be getting that. I don't know. You know, a lot of things are online now. But Essence magazine was very popular when I was growing up, and I kept a subscription for years. Subscription is when you pay for it once a year, and you get it in the mail once a month. O is for organize, for getting together, to sit in, boycott, to make our lives better. Thank you, Fred Hampton. Thank you, Diane Nash, for not being afraid of the possible clash with police and people who shouted and teased. Because of you, we can go where we please. That's a little bit about Black history you might want to get your parents to talk to you more about. P is for power. It's part of our core. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it must roar. Like a panther. Isn't that right, UEP? Power for the people like you and like me. And who do you think has more power than most? The president. Obama was first to that post. He was the first Black president. But Shirley Chisholm, that's a lady, unbossed and unbought, came so much closer than most people thought. She was a Black woman who attempted to become president a long time ago, but she ran for that. P is for possible, so glow on, child, glow. You can have power and be quiet. You can have power and not roar. Power looks different for some people, and power looks different at different times. Q is what? For queen. Behold and bow down. Shield your eyes for the shine of their crowns. Now, we had different types of people that we would consider queens. One of them is Michelle Obama. One of them is Leontine Price. Your parents might know about her, opera singer. One of them, African queen named Nefertiti. One of them is Queen Nadi. Another one, Toni Morrison, Black author, and she really wrote some very great books. Angela Davis, Ruby Burley. I mean, it goes on and on. Then we have R is for rise, to reach for the top. Relentlessly striving, refusing to stop. Like ball players, boxers, and gymnasts who fly. Sprinters and skaters who zoom right on by old records, old thinking, a sight to behold. They went for the win and grabbed for the gold. Remember, you can be anything you want to be. Gymnasts, we had Muhammad Ali, we had Jesse Owens, we have Althea Gibson, Shani Davis. Your parents would know about them. Ask your parents about these people. S is for scientists who charted the stars, studied the bees, took care of our hearts. For Benjamin Banneker, Patricia Bath, for Katherine Johnson's beautiful math. S is for soul. How sweet the sound. From the croon of Sam Cooke to the wail of James Brown. Brother Ray on the keys, Sister Thorpe dressed in mink, and Queen Aretha sang You Better Think. Again, your parents will know about these people. T is for Tuskegee, an all-Black school where students learn trades and toiled with tools. That's how we will rise, said Boss Booker T, but another smart man just didn't agree. W.E. Du Bois said, industry's fine, but I think it's better to work out mine. They had different ideas, but here's what's true. In their own ways, they were thinking of you. So we can have different Black leaders who think differently, but one thing they have in common, they thinking of you. The different ways that you can excel and be who you were brought on this earth to be. U is for what? Think of it, the United States. This story is tough. The birth of a nation was deadly for some of us. We, the people in the land of the free, no one was enslaved, would agree. U is for unbroken, unshaken, unbound, like Harriet Tubman, who went underground, took back her freedom and freed hundreds more, then was a spy in the Great Civil War. But when the states were united again, the fight for our freedom and lives didn't end, so U was for unfinished. This American tale with courage and strength, we will prevail. If you've never heard of Harriet Tubman, I suggest, boys and girls, you ask your parents. Learn about who she was and what she did, because she was a powerful woman, and she did a lot. V is for vote. Do you know what that means? The freedom to pick and choose as you please. Ballots. You give you ballots, you vote, you put down who you want to be the president, who you want to be, even the president in your school. You vote for things, you vote for your president of your class, you vote for president of the year. The freedom to choose who makes the rules, who has the power, who gets the tools to make their lives better. That's why we fight. The freedom to vote is a true civil right. That's part of your rights, to be able to vote. So you have to learn what it is that it takes so that you can keep your right to vote. As you get older, make sure you get that right to vote. You use it. W is for writers whose wisdom and words bring to life worlds where our voices are heard. Rappers and poets and songwriters too, and all those who spin from our point of view. So, like Jay-Z and Beyonce and Ida B. Wells and Angela Davis and Phyllis Whitley and Paul Robeson and Alex Haley and W.E. Du Bois. Yeah, I know a lot of these names you don't know, but it's good for you to find out. Play this over. Take one of these names and ask your parents about, so you can learn a little bit more about what people did to help us to become who we are today. X is for Malcolm, Malik El-Shabazz, known as Red, Malcolm Little, El-Hajj. By any means necessary, he insisted on change. Starting with X, he reclaimed his name. Malcom X. Malcom X. He was an interesting person. He was a powerful person. He was a very smart person. Different parts of his life, he was called different names. Malcolm Little, Red, and there's been movies about him too. Spike Lee did a movie about him. Then Y. Y is for young, gifted, and black, like Lady Lorraine who never looked back. She wrote of big dreams in rooms so small, it's hard to believe they were dreamed in it all. Lorraine and her work moved Nina Simone so much that Nina made work of her own. Young, gifted, and black. That's a powerful song that wraps us in hope, lets us know we belong. If you've never heard it, get your parents to play it for you. Young, gifted, and black. Z is for zenith, the highest, the peak, the top of the mountain. King said we'd reach. He won't get there with us. That's what Martin Luther King said. Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King said. But still we march on, rising like the sun with the dawn. So boys and girls, that's a lot about Black history, the ABCs. You can play this again. Pick one or two names of people you never heard of and ask your parents to help you to do some research so you can learn about these powerful people. You can learn about a writer. You can learn about the astronaut, a scientist. You can learn about a business person, male, female, it doesn't matter. There's many of them. You can learn about the person who made the hair care products, and she was a genius. You can learn a lot. So boys and girls, this was the ABCs of Black history. And as we move along, we'll get the ABCs of other cultures, and we'll share this with you as well. So boys and girls, make sure you play this over, pick a name, do some research, send it in to me. Your parents know how to contact me. See you later.